Well, a couple of things. First of all, whose balls is he hiding in his cheeks?
Yeah.
That's the first question I want to know. And I just love the way he says, fierce.
Yeah.
Bullshit is that? No, you don't, sir. We don't lie about military service we didn't actually perform, like going to war. We don't steal valor by saying that we had a higher rank in the national. My husband said he looks like Elmer Fudd. That's what he looks like, Elmer Fudd. Like
Picture this. Tim Walz suddenly becomes the target of two powerful personalities. Tyrus is an unstoppable human tank, wielding a microphone more like a weapon than a tool, while Megyn Kelly is the queen of precise, cutting takedowns. It's like watching two master roasters attack a man who thought he was walking into a playful skirmish, not a full-blown roast. The hits come fast, loud, and ruthless. By the end, you're grimacing, laughing, and honestly wondering if Walz should consider witness protection. Here, politics don't matter. It's pure humor in sharp disguise, landing harder than most late-night punchlines ever could.
Is deeply part of it. That's one of the, I think it goes, and you can look at the reasons why we've had this sort of dialectic over the Me Too movement.
Fight it.
And well, this
I think I can most of their.
What he's mad about is his own fault. He's mad about the image that was portrayed of him as the hunter. And who did that? You did that. We just laughed about it because the one thing you can't do is you can't front. You can't floss. Those are two key words when it comes to manhood. You can't pretend.
This is a moment you won't want to miss. So hit the like and subscribe buttons because things escalate quickly. Tyrus didn't jump in casually. He waited until the conversation heated up, then charged like a former wrestler, heading straight for a fully stocked buffet table. And who was his target? Not some nervous rookie or intern. It was Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Walz probably expected a routine day in Midwestern politics, shaking hands, cutting ribbons, maybe tossing a corny dad joke. Instead, he landed in a full-blown roast war with Tyrus and Megyn Kelly, two masters of words who handle opinions as expertly as chefs wield perfectly sharp.
who, just when you think no one's sitting at this table, neither she nor the big white blanket, can embarrass themselves any further, he does. She asks him, to her credit, about the carrying the weapons in war, which we know is a lie. He never served in war. He's been stealing valor for quite some time. And take a listen to this.
Said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing
knives. You could practically hear Tim Walz's carefully crafted public persona start to unravel in real time. He tries to present himself as the perfect mix of friendly small-town coach and serious governor, the kind who argues with his own clipboard as if it were escaping, all while cheering from the sidelines. He's often portrayed as the average person who accidentally wandered into the governor's office, giving the impression he meant to help, but somehow ended up running an entire state.
A teacher snatches the bully's ass up. Yeah. Come sit with me. That's why I know someone's bullying. Oh, you can sit with me for a while. And then I would lean on. I'd bully him back. He's not a teacher. He's not a politician. He's a creepy guy who can't.
Tim Walz's attempt to project a certain image didn't sit well with Tyrus. Not for a second. He called it cheesy, full of strange vibes. Walz looked more like a substitute gym teacher who accidentally started signing state budgets than a governor. Meanwhile, Megyn Kelly wasn't joking around. She stepped in with the intensity of someone waiting all week for a flimsy alibi to collapse in court. She was the perfect complement to Tyrus's hammer, slicing through Walz's contradictions with the precision of someone who could ruin a reputation while wearing high heels.
My grammar's not always correct, but again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog.
This took chutzpah. Let's go through it. You said you carried weapons in war, but you've never deployed in a war zone. Campaign official of yours said you misspoke. Did you? Well, I'm proud, incredibly proud of my record. He keeps doing this. Equally proud of my service in the class. Did I mention I was a teacher and a coach, an assistant coach? Okay, whatever. But he's more stolen valor. In the classroom, I'm in the classroom. My record speaks for itself. It doesn't actually. You've put a lot of lies into that record that you've been called.
Poor Tim Walz ended up looking like someone bragging about acing a test, only to realize later it was graded on a curve, and he barely passed, if at all. But Tyrus and Megyn weren't randomly roasting him. Let's take a closer look. He was treated like a bland stew everyone pretends tastes better than it does. Who is he anyway? Minnesota's governor, Tim Walz, a politician, former football coach, an educator. His resume reads like the opening scene of a sitcom about a coach who accidentally becomes a senator, but still looks charming on campaign posters. For years, he's leaned on his everyman image, endless flannel shirts, small town charm, and corny jokes. The problem comes when that friendly persona clashes with actual policy. The seams show up suddenly, and Walz seems to have drawn them in bold marker. Tyrus's scathing attack hit harder because it highlighted how Walz, like a coach yelling at players to run faster without pointing out the end zone, communicates harshly without clear guidance.
In that White House, or was everyone on the same bad cocaine? But Kamala can't speak, he can't speak, Biden was so high he couldn't remember anything. Like, this is literally the dumbest administration of all time. Why is he talking?
It really is the ultimate clown show. And I said this in the pod. He's a clown without a circus.
He doesn't even need makeup.
He's roaming the terrain. Is there some...
When the George Floyd protests hit his area, Minnesota drew global attention, and Tim Walz was expected to step up as a capable leader. Instead, the public saw a governor swinging between caution and overreaction, like a driver braking at a green light after flooring it at a red one. Everyone was left unsure what would happen next, as it quickly turned into political whiplash. Tyrus also skewered Walz's teaching philosophy. Walz often reminds everyone he's a teacher, a classroom man, a sympathetic coach, and someone who truly cares about kids. The comedy comes from his full embrace of the tough but caring coach persona. Yet, when real decisions are needed, he imposes rules that make others wonder if he's ever looked at his own playbook.
As your campaign had tried to do, and now you appear to be distancing yourself from that clarification. And then here's, two pieces of this that are really... I speak like they do. People are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. And I speak especially passionately about, and then he goes on to blame it on the school shootings. I guess he was upset about school shootings, so he lied. But stop saying you speak like we do. I speak like...
Megyn Kelly quickly dissected Tim Walz's average person image, pointing out its flaws. Despite claiming to care for ordinary people, his decisions often hit them hardest, like a lifeguard boasting about saving swimmers while tossing a cinder block instead of a life preserver. This is why Tyrus and Megyn's roast worked so well. They weren't just mocking his policies, they were dismantling his entire brand. Take a closer look, and the slogans, stage photos, flannel shirts, and practice smiles start to crumble. Supporters may call him progressive and compassionate, but strip away the spin and the shine fades fast, like buying a gorgeous new car that looks perfect in the driveway but breaks down constantly, leaving you calling A to A more than actually driving.
I would be furious if I was him. If this is who you sent to troll me? Like, what am I doing wrong to get the guy from D Team to come out at Family Theater and call me names? Like, Tim, I would, if they were like, oh, Tyrus, man, tough news cycle. Tim Walz is talking about you. I'd be like...
The surprising thing is that Tim Walz is now more than a local figure. Rumors of a possible vice presidential pick have thrust him into the national spotlight, making the roast more than just a joke. It was a sharp warning aimed at his growing ambitions. With Megyn Kelly's pinpoint precision and Tyrus's blunt, relentless humor already rattling him, how could he handle the nonstop stress of a national campaign? Megyn sees him as a slick marketer promoting ineffective policies, while Tyrus views him as someone trying to appear tough without revealing a real track record. If two outspoken critics can so easily unravel him, coaching Little League might be a smarter long-term plan than aiming for the presidency.
In the audience, I watched him last night, and I thought he was amazing. He is a spectacular speaker. He had that rally in the palm of his hand. He's way more effective than she is or Joe Biden is. For the first time that I can remember, had like a feeling of fear rise up in my throat, because I know what he's permitting in Minnesota when it comes to children, which, we talk about one of the defining issues of our time is the way we treat our animals, our livestock, the way we kill them.
Tyrus argues that Tim Walz, who presents himself as the people's coach, might struggle even with the simple dodgeball team. Players would just run in circles, the ball would stay on the ground, and there'd be plenty of shouting but no strategy. Megyn Kelly went further. peeling back the layers to reveal where Walz talks about compassion but shows misunderstanding, and claims power but acts inconsistently. Take the George Floyd protests, for example. Minnesota needed steady, confident leadership, yet Walz often hesitated, responded slowly, or overcorrected when clarity was most needed, adding to the chaos.
I want to fight him so bad. Why won't he just answer my tweets, my DMs, like just one arm? And I just want to slap the He's so weak. He brings nothing. If you were going to go after someone man to man, hit him.
By acting erratically during key moments, Tim Walz seemed to try pleasing everyone, but ultimately satisfied no one. He rushed to comfort one side while appearing anxious not to upset the other. When Megyn said leadership aimed at pleasing everyone ends up pleasing no one, she was spot on. It's like a waiter confidently serving the wrong salad while ignoring the rest of your meal. Under Walz's leadership, businesses never knew if they'd remain open or face sudden regulatory changes, especially given his shaky handling of COVID and education. The irony was almost scripted. Instead of schools thriving, the former teacher oversaw falling performance, curriculum conflicts, and rising costs. Even the people's coach struggled to maintain order in his own classroom.
There was Oliver Wendell Holmes, and actually you can, I don't believe you're a lawyer, Governor Walz. You can yell fire in a crowded theater, and you can say hateful things, because this is the United States of America, and it's right there in Amendment number 1. It's one of our favorites, was one of the founders' favorites, and was one of the founding principles upon which this country was built. There's no exception for speech. Tim Walz or Kamala Harris magically deemed hateful, but they've been pushing this, both of them, and a lot of Democrats have, for quite some time. These young Democrats on college campuses say that they believe that the Constitution doesn't protect.
For someone who built his persona around being the chief and instructor, Tim Walz's record isn't impressive. Megyn was right when she said a leader's greatest strength can also be their biggest weakness. It's like a chef burning the soup in front of everyone while boasting about running a successful kitchen. Walz presents himself as the friendly, everyday teacher, but when his charm doesn't match real results, the criticism hits harder. Tyrus put it perfectly. Walz is like a movie trailer promising thrilling action, only to deliver a confusing, meandering story. Megyn's warning rang clear. How could Walz handle a national crisis if he can't even run Minnesota? Appointing him as CEO would be just as disastrous.
And here's the cold part. If Elon called him up and said, hey, Tim, you want a job? He would take it, because that's what spineless. He would, and when he was questioned, he was like, I was just holding him in account. You know, I respect him, and I'm so happy to be working for X. He is the worst player on their team, and they don't mind sending him out because
They're trying to get him off the table.
Yeah.
They're putting him out early, so he...
Tim Walz isn't the only problem. It's also the ideas he represents in modern politics. To critics like Tyrus and Megyn, he's a polished, marketable figure who values image over consistency, perfect for flashy campaign ads, but far less effective at governing. Their roast exposed a political style built more on branding than results, showing a system that relies on slogans and spectacle instead of real leadership. Supporters rushed to defend him, yet even they couldn't ignore the growing list of issues. Meanwhile, Megyn's precise analysis and Tyrus's blunt approach made their critiques almost comical, like watching a boxer trip over his own shoelaces in the middle of a fight.
Tim Walz, okay, Jen Psaki, she's a talking head, whatever, but Tim Walz was recently the vice presidential candidate on the Democratic ticket. Maybe you would expect a little better, a little higher in terms of the rhetoric. You would be disappointed. Here is Psaki.
And you doom scroll through things, and although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime, just so you know.
So chipper. Don't worry, there will be news. In other words, Trump will die.
Considering that Tim Walz is governor and every decision he makes affects millions, you almost feel sorry for him. The stakes are real, which is what makes the humor so sharp. Can Walz recover, or will he be remembered as another overhyped politician who failed to meet his own image? For years, he marketed himself as the friendly, patient coach, overseeing the state with compassion. But that image peeled away like old wallpaper when Tyrus and Megyn tore it apart. His ideals, generosity, and small-town charm were admired, yet the critiques left a lasting mark.
He has a sports coat and a zip-up sweater underneath. No man wears that.
I may have done that in the past.
Yes.
I won't now, Tyrus.
No, he's and one day somebody's going to explain what a corporate income tax is to these people. It's not paid by this. It's not paid by the corporation. It's not like a building that goes, I've got to pay taxes. It's the work.
Critics were quick to highlight the vagueness, ambiguities, and long speeches that rarely matched reality. It's hard to convince people of exceptional leadership when a leader's record looks more like a highlight reel of hesitation and unclear choices. While Tim Walz was celebrated as a rising national star, the problem went far beyond Minnesota. He unintentionally became a symbol of what happens when slick branding outweighs real substance. The coach-turned-leader narrative proved as fragile as a folding chair collapsing during a wrestling match, great for polished political ads, but the roast revealed the truth. Beyond humor, it exposed realities many had long suspected.